The Team Never Quit podcast is sponsored by Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal Credit Union serves all branches of the armed forces. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Team Never Quit podcast. My name is Andrew, hanging out with Morgan, Marcus, John, Kara. The whole room is full today. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
It's a good day, man. Hey,
Great day.
Got some good things going on.
Right?
Some great podcast guests today. It's been a lot of fun.
Hey, we're podcasters.
We are podcasters.
It's Monday and we're podcasting. It doesn't get any better than that. The sun's out.
We actually
the shades are shut.
specifically do this on Monday so we don't have the Mondays.
The Mondays. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because we're just
I
podcasting.
totally know what you mean.
It's
I've
a
been
thing.
in
It's a thing.
back-to-back meetings.
I was thinking about it earlier, man. Mondays need to be the day that you eat the food that you're not supposed to. You have the fun days just to get through it. Kick
Instead
that week
of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
yeah, well, add it on to it. Just keep
Add
it going.
to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh, man. All right. We've got a great guest in store for you guys today. Pete Roberts is a husband, father, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, third-degree black belt, Fox News regular, co-founder of Jocko Fuel, and the visionary behind Origin USA, listed by Inc. magazine as the 215th fastest growing private company in America in 2021. Origin offers American-sourced and American-made apparel, denim, boots, fitness gear, and nutritional supplements. Pete is on a mission to restore American manufacturing, and they're on fire. Pete, welcome to the show, man. Super excited to have you.
Man, appreciate it. You make me sound really good, except I'm just kind of a redneck from the woods of Maine. But appreciate it.
No, you're going to gel real well. We're rednecks from Willis.
Yeah,
Just a bunch of rednecks here, guys.
it's
Okay, good.
when someone reads out the stuff that you've accomplished, doesn't sound right, does it?
Doesn't sound right. No.
I mean, making a resume through your life when you read through this, I get that attitude you got. We carry that same thing, man. But well done, though. Seriously, well done.
Appreciate it.
How's Maine?
Man, right
Beautiful.
now, I mean, the weather shifted, so we have 6 seasons in Maine.
Yep.
You got your tradition, the tradition
Standard 4,
seasons.
yep.
Then you have mud season, where everything turns to mud. Then you have black fly season. Then you go to summer. So we're at black fly season right now. Those little bastards, they'll take chunks out of you.
So we have love bugs.
Oh,
You ever seen
I
those?
hate those things.
love bugs.
Yeah, that's what we call them. I don't do they.
By your the way you said that, you don't know what they are, do you?
No.
There's one in here a minute ago.
There's literally
They're little-
they're little black bugs with orange heads, and they fly around mating.
They're mated up, male, female. They fly in opposite directions. One's
Do they
going
eat
one way.
you too, or
There's 2 of them.
do they bite you?
No,
they don't do anything.
They're just
There's just so many. They're just a nuisance.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
yeah. So when you said black bugs, he's like, we're in it right now, and we have horse flies that when they get on you,
Okay,
it feels
there you
like
it's like probably the same thing
like a
as the black
scorpion
fly.
sting. I mean,
Yeah.
I had
We
one
have-
follow me on the tractor the other day, doing laps around me, like talking smack to me. He was
We
gnarly.
have those. We have those, and we have moose flies too. They're like twice the size of a horse fly, so which means they just take twice the
A
meat.
moose fly.
What
Moose
does that
fly.
even? What does that
They're
even look like?
massive.
God,
Totally
no.
different problems we got here.
It's not a miniature bird.
That's a
That
bird.
sounds like
It's
a one-up.
bird.
Sounds like a
It's
bird,
It's
man.
a
One-up?
one-up to Texas.
That's called
Those
like a
birds
one-up.
down here, man.
We're gonna get along
No,
famously.
we don't have anything poisonous. You guys have plenty of poisonous shit down
We
there.
do have that.
have
All
nothing
literally
poisonous.
like right here where we are sitting.
Yeah.
We've got
Kill
five
Marcus
of the-
just stomped one
five
up
of the
this
yeah,
morning.
I kill them every day.
Yeah, we
I
have
killed copperhead this morning.
5 of the 7 deadly snakes in the country are right here.
Yeah. So Texas and Australia, we got some badasses running around.
All right, let's do
We
this
pitch-
thing. We got a
oh, yeah.
Patreon question. Team Never Quit Nation question of the day comes from Matt. He says, someone comes to you and says you can go back in time and relive a moment of your life or change a moment of your life, but there's one catch. Something else in your life will have to change, and you can't know what that change will be. Do you risk it? Do you go back? Do you make a change?
No.
Nope.
No.
Ugh.
Do you?
I think so, yeah. I think there are some decisions I've made in life that it's hard because it's hard to know what you're going to change.
I
want to
hear this. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But I think I've made some poor business decisions, which, yes, they've taught me stuff. But if I could go change them, I mean, I certainly think I would.
So you wouldn't learn anything?
No.
No, I would hope to still be learning. I just think that it would have
You learn
saved me some
more in
heartache.
your failures than
No.
you ever do your successes.
Somebody reverse the words on you.
All right.
What about
Right?
you?
I I stopped calling them failures a couple of years ago,
Right.
and I started calling them tuition payments.
Yeah.
Unless you're dead, like it's a transition into something else. So
Right.
you're paying tuition. I was a college dropout, and you're not going to learn that shit in college. You're going to learn it in life. So lots of tuition payments, but
I like that.
That's a good
Got to
perspective.
steal that one.
Yeah, if you go out and you get your ass kicked, someone was teaching you a lesson. If you go out and
That's
kick
right.
someone else's ass, you were teaching them a lesson. It's a give and take.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what life is. That's the best thing. And we were talking, Mojo and I, with our friends. We've had the same friends for so long that we have great stories and great moments. And we don't ever say, hey, man, we should go back and live that one out. Because you go back and mess it up.
It won't be as fun.
Won't be as fun. If you go
Yeah.
back and try to live one of them badass moments, those are frozen in time. You just go make another one. Different spot.
Yeah.
I guess what he's saying is he doesn't love you.
Doesn't love you.
I know, right?
That's messed up. That's messed up.
Hey, man.
I am getting thrown under the bus.
Yeah,
hard
your
right
woman
now.
sitting in here, man, that would definitely go pick on you.
Carry your head out of here for a second, okay?
Money. No, because
wrong.
everything I've done has led me here to you today.
That's right.
So you're supposed to roll with that.
There you go.
All right. That was a good.
That was a
question.
good question. That was a
Pretty
good
deep.
question.
That's a lot of thought. Obviously, wasn't texting and driving. when
That's
we sent
right.
That one over.
Exactly.
Nice job, Matt.
Oh my gosh, Pete, man, you've got the story, man, and I'm glad we got a chance to hook up and connect here because you were obviously on Ryan Mickler's podcast, and we had Ryan from Order of Man on our show. And whenever he kind of mentioned your name, I was like, this is kind of a no-brainer. So glad you're here, man.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. It's looking forward to talking and kind of sharing our story with you guys.
So down here in Texas, it's all about your generational count. Like, so Mark's and I are 5th generation, right? That's a big deal. How long you been up there?
So my dad's side of the family, I'm technically a son of the American Revolution. So on my dad's side, so they've been here for a while. My mom's side, I came over from Greece in the early 1900s. So a little bit of immigrant and a little bit of kind of been here. So
It's beautiful up there, man. What's that movie we like so much? It's not. It's getting so hot in August. It gets so hot here. All right, that we're kind of like looking for a place to go up and find a peaceful cabin on the lake, and we keep throwing Maine
I got
down.
a cabin on the lake.
You got one of those going down up there?
I have one. Yeah, 100%. It's gorgeous on a dead end road with a couple thousand acres that abuts it. That's not my property, but you got to go down this old dirt road, and there it is in a natural spring-fed lake, glacial carved, 130 feet deep, landlocked salmon, trout, all the good stuff.
So how big's the town you grew up in?
700 people.
Oh, that's cool. You still live there?
I do. Yeah. Yep. 700 people just outside of it's. I guess what I'd say is the area I live in. It's the last stop before you hit the Great Boreal Wilderness, the Great North Woods. So it's the last place with all the amenities before you enter nothing. It's just the North Woods. You keep going for 3-4 hours and you hit Montreal. So it's
really?
It's old New England for sure.
How many of the 700 people that live there work for you? Because that's like a big deal.
That's actually a really great question. The numbers we have here, that means half the town.
Now
works
then
for
we
you.
want to know, like, what was it like when you were a kid, as opposed to how you get treated now that you're an adult and
Royalty in town, right?
Yeah, no, I think I'm originally from Massachusetts, so I'm considered a masshole to Mainers, right?
Oh, check.
I'll
I
never-
forgot you called yourselves. That's right, man.
Yeah. So I'll never truly been from Maine, even though I've lived here since I was 8 years old. But yeah, no, I mean, I grew up in the town, came back after I dropped out of college, and was just one of those kids, the high school athlete and all that stuff. So I knew everybody, and I think everyone's pretty stoked that we've been able to bring some success to the area and help really rebuild manufacturing and give this community a purpose again after all the jobs got exported and the mills fell apart.
Yeah,
So,
rewind the tape for everybody that's listening to us today, because we haven't gotten into that one yet. Small town in Maine, industrial town, yeah?
Yeah, in this area there was a lot of manufacturing. Bass Shoe was here. I mean, everyone knows Bass Shoe.
Oh, yeah.
Mark is a big fan of those.
Yeah, I used to support them suckers all the time. What's up?
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Penny loafers back in the 90s.
Come on now,
right?
some seats. The 90s. I had them Z
jeans, man.
Cavaricis and Bass shoes going.
Did you guys? I remember
Powerful.
trying to trying to peg my one pair of jeans and stick a penny in the leg.
That's coming back.
Is it?
Yeah.
Pegging the jeans?
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Saw some of the kids in high school doing it. I was like, ah, we used to do that shit.
Yeah, we thought it was cool.
That was cool.
So
And it wasn't.
So yeah, Bass Shoe was a big one. They employed 2,000 people. The corporate raiders came in and basically shut the plant down and
Is that shipped it all overseas? Is that what happened to Bass?
all overseas. Yeah, Lewiston, Maine, same thing. Chinese came in, bought all the looms up, and exported all the machines and knowledge overseas, and kind of just stuck in that shitty spot, really abandoned for 20 plus years. So bringing to the community a mission, giving people a mission again has been tremendous. It's a lot of, I've been fulfilled, but I think more so the people have been fulfilled.
So,
of course, we've built a great business off of it too.
Yeah. So all the white elephants, all the big factories, Bass factory, and that's all still there.
Some of it is still there. Some of the shit's been knocked down. Like that Bass factory is pretty well deteriorated. You'd have to start from scratch to be able to build in there again, to build product. Some of the mills around, Lewiston, there been some renovated and gentrified and all that good stuff. But there's some that are pretty well too far gone to ever turn them into anything. So
what's the sport of the town? You said you were in athletics. What's the sport y'all play?
That'd be wrestling.
Yeah, I was a football, lacrosse, basketball player. So,
indoor sports freaking cold up there, man.
No football in Maine.
Football in Maine.
You got some big farm boys.
Nice try sliding that in, buddy. That was funny.
Yeah. Not like Texas, not like Texas football. I remember reading Friday Night Lights when I was in high school. When I was
Make movie about the high school
down
football down here. Religion.
So tell us about tell us how you grew up. I mean, you're a 3rd degree black belt, so you've been doing that for your entire life.
Yeah, no. As far as growing up, I mean, grew up in this small town. Saw
Siblings?
the best of it.
You got brothers and sisters?
What's that?
Brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I got a brother and 2 sisters.
Older,
all
younger?
close in age, like one and a half years apart, all 4 of us. So, standard
Mom and
growing
Dad.
up, my brother and I punching each other in the face, that type of stuff. Lots of fights.
So would you
we
say
grew
the
up
better
in
setup for having kids is 2, 3, or 4?
3 years? Perfect setup. 3 years, the perfect setup. I just talked to somebody about this the other day, actually.
Really?
How many do you
good.
have? How many do you have? I have 2. They're 4 years apart. But how many kids do you have?
I have 2, and they're 3 years apart.
Okay.
Yep.
2 boys, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy.
Boy's the older one, and he's 19 now, and it's freshman year. Just finished his freshman year in college, and she's just finished up her sophomore year in high school. So the cool thing is they're close enough. They're far apart enough to not be overly competitive.
Yeah.
So if it was 2, I have a boy and a girl, but if it's 2 boys, it's like the older boy wants to help the younger boy get better, at sports. Whereas when they're close in age and you're fighting for varsity spots on teams, it's very competitive and you're at each other's necks. I like that distance with my 2 kids. My son, he, and as a senior in high school and her as a freshman, he kind of like laid down the law, like stay away from my sister.
Sure.
So I like that 3 year where they're in high school at least 1 year together.
Right on.
Good to know somebody. I think that's a good. Yep, I'd agree with that.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. Yeah. So anyways, grew up in the area, married my high school sweetheart. We've been together since we were 16.
Congratulations,
wow,
man.
That's awesome, man.
Thanks. Yeah. You don't see that a lot these days.
No.
That's that small town stuff. People
It is a small town stuff. I think it's part of what's missing from America.
All right. So give some advice on how to be married that long.
Yeah. Communication. What's up?
Oh man. Relationship advice, alignment,
usually simple wisdom, right?
Values, morals, how you want to raise your kids, where you want to live, and then really staying like supporting one another to a point where you're kind of, I don't want to say like staying out of each other's way. That's a bad way of saying it, but buying into each other's, I'd say, kind of personal goals and ambitions. Like buying in as a best friend, would want to versus, a spouse. I don't know. It's just a tweak to the mindset.
No, I started looking at it like that too. In the beginning, it's the spouse, you get wrapped around the husband-wife thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you shift back over to that teammate, like you're opposite there with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like they can cover down on some things you can't. She has skill sets I don't have, man. And when you realize that, as opposed to it's not a threat, it's an
it's where you go, I go.
Man. Yeah. That's a game changer when you get one of them, for sure.
It took us a long time to get there. Like, young kids. I grew up pretty poor. She grew up middle class, and just that alignment, kind of living off hamburger helper and ramen noodles together as kids. And obviously, the ebbs and flows of life. And then of course, success together. She knows who I am at my core and I know who she is. And if shit hit the fan and everything was gone, I know we'd be living in a teepee together. So it's kind of, we have that alignment, she's not looking for anything more than what we had, initially. So it's all a bonus.
Yep. That's a blessing right there.
Man, when you find a unicorn, we call them ride or die, like one of them to stick beside you, and it's kind of like, just let's go. Even if you do wind back up in the TV, you can build everything back.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
We were talking about that. It's actually, man, every skill set you get down here is learned up into earning money. Like once you figure out how to do that, you can just go do it.
You just go do it.
Yeah. I never heard anybody say it like that till here recently, man, but it truly is. It's like, man, once you learn how to do that, you can go do it anywhere.
Anywhere. Yep. It's a skill set.
Yeah, it's a skill set. 100%.
Yep.
All right, so because the story itself is fascinating on where you are right now to where you came from. So give the listeners a little bit of background information on exactly what it is you do and how you got to where you are, and then we'll get into a little intricacies if you don't mind.
Yeah, I can get a little long-winded, so cut me off. I'm trying to cut.
You're good. We're taping it.
Okay, good.
Drop knowledge.
After I dropped out of college, I started a business. And I ran that from 2001, 2002, right up until the recession. And when the recession hit, I didn't know how to cover. I didn't know how to pivot. I was just a young, naive kid. And I say, I'm like I got ADHD. Like, I guess if you want to put it on it, like if you want to put a term on the type of, I just say I was just a normal boy, bouncing off the walls. So I didn't know how to use like my, let's say, ADHD as a superpower.
Yeah.
When I was younger. Now it's a superpower.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Bro, it is a superpower.
Let's take a second to thank our sponsors over at Omaha Steaks. You guys might have heard Marcus talking about these guys just a few weeks ago. It's funny because at the time he had gone to Omaha for a speaking engagement. He talked about how much he loved Omaha. He talked about how much he loved Omaha Steaks, which is funny because at the time he said, we're not sponsored by Omaha Steaks, but I love them. And now we actually are sponsored by them. Omaha is a great company. When I got my box the other day, it was loaded down with all of the best stuff. It had bacon wrapped fillets. It had hamburgers. It had hot dogs. It had these little desserts. Oh, they're so good. Everything you could need to make for a great Father's Day weekend. The best grilling package you could possibly think of. I had the bacon wrapped fillets, solid. I had the dessert treats, solid. Hot dogs are on the menu for tonight because it's easy. And we got kids coming over. So we're going to swim. We're going to make some hot dogs. We're going to see how those are. But it has been an amazing, amazing box. Here's a little gift giving wisdom from Omaha Steaks. Dads want steaks. Bottom line. And with Father's Day around the corner, there isn't a better gift than Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com. Type TNQ up in the search bar and order the Dads Want Steaks package. I'm telling you, I'm not a dad, but I know right now that if I was a dad, I'd want steaks. I'm not a dad and I want steaks. For just $90, this limited time package includes 16 mouthwatering entrees he's guaranteed to love, like the smoky, tender, bacon-wrapped filet mignons, the gourmet jumbo franks, their air-chilled, boneless chicken breasts, and for a sweet finish, the delicious caramel apple tartlets. Man, I'm really getting hungry just thinking about it. I'm telling you, those caramel apple tartlets, I wasn't so sure about them, but it was freaking delicious. And as a special gift for our listeners, when you type TNQ in the search bar and you order the Dads Want Steaks package, you're also going to get 8 free Omaha Steaks burgers. They're bold, beefy flavor made from 100% Omaha steaks, and now they are bigger than ever at a whopping 6 ounces. They're amazing. We had them just the other night for dinner. Don't wait. Send Dad more than just a gift. Send him an experience he'll love and can share with you, if he'll share with you, you know. Go to omahasteaks.com and type TNQ in the search bar. Order the Dads Want Steaks package. You're going to get 16 entrees, 4 desserts, plus 8 free Omaha Steaks burgers. Omaha Steaks isn't just steak. It is the best steak of your life, guaranteed. That's omahasteaks.com. Use our keyword TNQ.
When the recession came, I didn't know how to use that, and I didn't know how to pivot, and we basically lost everything. I mean, except for our home. You know, we sold off everything. I was in debt for that first business. It was a little new media company. You know, we would do cool little projects, and had gone into debt, taken out a line of credit, and ended up basically, you know, in my basement trying to figure out what was next. My wife saying, you should really get your resume together. You should really find a job. You know, folks, you could get hired anywhere. I had 2 young kids at home, really young at this point. And I fell back on jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu was kind of my passion. Still is. It's just one of those lifestyle, I call it a sport. You know, some people call it a martial art. It is a martial art. For me, it's just a lifestyle activity, which I got really good at and continued to practice weekly. So I fell back on jiu-jitsu, and it kind of kept me at a baseline. I was able to use kind of the tools of jiu-jitsu, timing, leverage, opportunity, you know, all the things that jiu-jitsu kind of teaches you, and apply them to what I decided I wanted to do was reinvent gear for jiu-jitsu that hadn't been changed in like 1,000 years, the kimono, right? Or say 200 years for jiu-jitsu. And so I had this idea of changing the garment for training. And I told my wife this is what I wanted to do. I kind of launched a product off of a photograph, and I sold like 200 units, and I was like, cool, how am I going to make these, basically?
So you just designed this yourself and cut it up in your basement?
I designed it and got a prototype from overseas, from Pakistan, where everybody was importing jiu-jitsu gis from. So the 2 places you could get them was from Pakistan or from China. So I imported this one kimono, I took a photo of it, and then I launched it and basically said, I'm starting a gi company. Very naive. This is very naive. I'm starting a gi company. Here's what we're going to do with the jiu-jitsu gi. You know, it's badass. We're changing the game, etc. And sold a couple hundred units. You know, at that point, that was 2010, 2011. So 2008, 9, between that year, between 2009, 2010, I was kind of figuring out my life. And then launched the jiu-jitsu company, 2011-ish, I guess you could say. So I was like, okay, well, this is cool. Let's look at manufacturing this stuff in America, thinking it would be, you know, pretty easy to figure out, especially being from Maine, how to manufacture.
You just thought that? I mean, just, yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Think about that for a second. What were you sitting around thinking while you were sitting around thinking about that? Because most people think that's an impossible accomplishment.
I mean, when I was thinking about, well, I was thinking we still had the knowledge in Maine, because we used to do this, you know, when I was a kid, we used to make stuff. So I was thinking, well, I got to be able to find someone that can cut and sew. And everywhere I turned, it was no, it's dead. I had people like, you're crazy. You're not going to be able to do that. And finally I bought into the propaganda, and I was like, you're right. I'm not going to be able to do this. And so we started importing stuff. So we just started importing gis. I was designing product. We were importing bags and compression stuff. And, you know, and every time I would I would import something. I'd drive my old Chevy down to Boston and pick it up from customs and load it on a trailer and those nasty freaking boxes with a nasty burlap around it, drive it back to Maine. And I never felt really good about it. And so I inquired again. And again, I hit a dead end. I was like, yeah, okay. I called, made phone calls. I tried to find out how to make this stuff. And finally, what really kind of like drove me to believe that we couldn't make stuff in America was when I called up a fabric company that it was a weaving company. And I said, hey, can you make this textile? And they said, yes, you'd have to order 100,000 yards, which was $1 million in this textile. You know, I didn't have like two nickels to rub together, a bucket to piss in at this point. So, you know, it was like, you know, like I can't do that. Well, that's the type of commitment we need to work, you know, to be able to like loom up and weave this for you. That's the type of commitment we're going to need. So at that point, you know, I was just like, this is just the way it's going to have to be. I guess manufacturing is dead. You know, I guess I can't do it. And it stung. But something happened, a defining moment happened and really pushed me over the edge. And that was, I was over in Abu Dhabi competing in a grappling tournament called the World Pro. And a person was walking by me and they were wearing Origin gear. And I was like, man, that's awesome. They were from Europe. I was like, I look at a Eastern European, like wearing this Jiu Jitsu gear. And as they walked by, there was a different logo on the back. And that's all I needed. And I called up my manufacturer, Ali, and I said, and I was talking to him just like this over video. I said, man, you're ripping off our intellectual property. I said, you know, it's not trademarked. I get that, but you're ripping us off and you're selling it into Europe. I said, everything I design and I send to you, you're then taking it and selling it. He goes, hey, it is what it is. He said, business is business. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And that was what I really needed to push me over the edge. So being naive and a little bit arrogant, I guess you could say, I called some friends and family and I went out in my backyard, literally in the woods. We have some acreage. I marked out a bunch of trees and we got the chainsaws out and we started cutting down trees. We had some timber sawn into logs and we did old school barn raising and we built a little factory in my backyard. We continued to drive around the state of Maine looking for old scrap sewing machines, and I found a couple of old 1940s LL Bean throwaway sewing machines, cast iron sewing machines. I brought them back to the shop, and and we didn't have power. We had a generator. We started up, didn't have a working bathroom, and we started sewing stuff, and that was the beginning, really, of Origin. So from that point forward, I've definitely turned gray building this thing out. We've gone from, I think 1 employee to almost 400 employees in the past, what is it, 8 or 9 years, and truly have embraced taking back America and giving people a reason to believe in the American dream again. And I like to say I'm living proof of that. It took that defining moment. Definitely being naive, a little bit of ADHD as a superpower, but we were able to do it. And I think that what's so valuable is living here. You can, if you embrace the power of the American spirit and the American dream, you truly can do anything. And I think that Origin is a metaphor for that, and has been a metaphor for that. And it hasn't been easy. I had to remortgage my house early on. I had to learn the hard way. And we didn't get to the point we're at right now without making a lot of tuition payments. So people don't get to see those late nights and early mornings, the 16, 18-hour days for years. You know, the conversations you're having behind the scenes, the conversations with a spouse, conversations you're having about having 2 young kids at home, you know, asking in-laws or family members for a few $100s to buy groceries or to make a mortgage payment. Like, people don't see that side. They just see the results. You know, they see the now. So,
oh, sure.
You know, that's kind of the story in a nutshell. And that was the quick version.
How many square feet was the barn you guys threw up?
It was 64 by 36 initially. 64 by 36 concrete slab, and the beams were 27 feet to the peak. 10 by 10 rough sawn beams that were super heavy. I mean, they were green when we had them sawn out. So, like, lifting them up, we rented a bucket, like one of those 4-wheeled things you can drive around that has the bucket on it.
Yeah.
We'd rest on the bucket and slowly creep it up until we stood it up, and have people hold it and spike it together.
Yeah, that's some redneck shit, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's almost like a field of dreams, man. If you build it, they'll show up. They'll come out there, right?
So how big's the factory now, or the factories?
So now we're spread over 6 locations in 2 states. We consume of factory space close to 300,000 square feet. In Maine, we have 120,000 square feet total. And in North Carolina, we consume another 170 and 40, so another 230, so over 300,000 square feet of space.
Are other companies coming to you now? Are you just strictly doing Origin out of there?
We've had a lot of companies that have come to us looking for manufacturing. What we're doing is we're creating a monopoly. East of the Mississippi, Origin will basically own the supply chain. And the idea is that if we can own it, we can protect it, right? If we can keep it out of the hands of private equity and venture capital, if we can keep it out of the hands of corporate raiders, and, you know, we can keep this thing private, we're going to be able to protect it. So our goal has been to secure the supply chain and the mills and the plants that we call the Origin Factory blockchain. And what it is, it's a blockchain of manufacturing that's transparent, where, you know, the cotton that is in your jeans was grown in the Tennessee Delta region.
Oh, check.
You know,
So you're vertically integrating your company with all American made material.
Exactly. Dirt to shirt, field to finish, fiber to fabric, seed to shelf. Like 100%.
Dude, how long you been sitting on that one? Dude, say that one again.
Yeah. Dirt. I don't know what I say. Dirt to shirt, fiber to fabric, field to finish, seed to shelf.
We are supported by Athletic Greens. I've been using this product almost every single day, and I started taking it because I was having some issues with some gut health, and I was just looking for some more energy and optimizing my immune system, and I was tired of taking all of the freaking vitamins, all of the freaking pills. I was looking for a supplement that made it easy to just get the freaking good stuff that I needed in my diet, and that is exactly why I've been using Athletic Greens. It doesn't taste super healthy. It kind of has a mild tropical taste. You'll start looking forward to it each morning, and if you don't know what it is, with one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, aging, seriously, all of the things. For me, I've taken it right when I wake up in the morning. It's a quick thing to incorporate into my day. It's a part of that good balance. You know, I don't want to have to take supplements. I don't want to have to think, okay, what is this bottle for? What's that bottle for? All I have to do is take one scoop, shake it up in the amazing water bottle they send you, and I know that I'm getting all of the things that my body really needs. There's a lot of people out there taking some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with those high quality ingredients that your body is actually going to absorb, and that is what AG1 is. It is a small micro habit with major benefits. It is the one thing you can do every single day, even if you don't go to the gym. It's the one thing you can do every single day to take great care of yourself. The founder has an incredible story. He actually created this product because he was also experiencing gut health issues. He ended up on a complicated supplement routine, and it cost him $100 a day. And he realized, okay, this is just not sustainable. It's not affordable. And that's why he created Athletic Greens in the first place. So if you have been thinking about it, you listen to these episodes every single week, you hear us talk about Athletic Greens, you've asked yourself, is this a good product? Should I give it a go? I'm telling you, if you're looking to simplify your nutrition, Athletic Greens is what you need to check out. Right now, time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It is just one scoop in a cup of water every single day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And Athletic Greens, they love you guys. They're going to hook you guys up with a year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you need to do is head over to athleticgreens.com/TNQ. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/TNQ. They're going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with that first purchase. Take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Yeah, I mean, and so to your question, yeah, we have had a lot of companies. We had Levi's reach out. We told them to pound sand. They abandoned the American worker. They're a big part of, why we're hurting in America, amongst other companies that abandoned the American worker. Yeah. There were factories everywhere. I mean, you guys know this.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Every town had a purpose, and the corporate greed, the runaway capitalism that came in and, just chose profit over people. They're partly in a big way responsible for what's happened to America's communities.
Right.
So,
because the people are your profit, right?
Yeah, man, people over profit. And we gotta course correct that.
I just want to drive this point home because you started out. So I think a lot of people don't chase their dreams, or when they get into, or they want to do something and it gets hard, or it seems like they're going to fail, lose their money, have to go borrow money for somebody to buy groceries. That's usually when they stop.
Yes.
You took something that was everything and then was lost and brought it back to life. And now it's flourishing, and you came from and started with absolutely zero. Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So all the listeners out there need to understand that you don't have to have a Harvard education, $1 billion in the bank. All you have to have is drive, dedication, and a dream, right?
I always knew you wasted your time when you were in Harvard.
Understand that you will fail.
Yeah.
Understand that you will fail every day. And if you continue to grind it out.
Hey, or understand that you're already doing that. That's kind of what life is until you get good at it. I mean, at what point did you, I'm sorry.
That's why I started using tuition payments, because I made and continue to make so many mistakes, but to your point on like starting with nothing and building something, I use it's like a quick and easy metaphor to get people to understand. Folks will go and invest in a $75,000 Ford Raptor, which they're charging $100,000 for now because they can, right? So I'll go in and I'll take out a bank loan. Anybody, you name it. I don't care where you're working. I'm going to go take out a 70 or 100,000, and I'm going to invest it into a mode of transportation. But when you say to that same person, like, why don't you do that and invest in you? Like, why don't you invest that in you and yourself? If you have a dream, or if you have an idea that you believe in, why wouldn't you go and invest that in yourself? And even if you do fail or make a tuition payment, yeah, it's a 5-year note, like you're going to pay that 5-year and then go do it again, and people, they're very scared of the unknown, and it's the unknown that drives people to live in fear of not investing in themselves or in an idea or an opportunity. And I think that is, I don't know if it's learned behavior. I think it has a lot to do with who you surround yourself with also,
Sure.
or how you've grown up. There's this nervousness about that people can't get over. But once they get over it, once you do it once, it's kind of like we were talking earlier. Once you know how to make money, you always know how to make money.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with business. Like I could do this again. Like what I feel like I've captured and I have now is experiential knowledge.
Yeah.
No one can ever take away from me.
Yeah. Right.
And it's powerful. It's powerful.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Because at what point when you're starting out, you're like, hey, I want to start this gi company, man. You had no idea that was going to grow into this. And I think what you lose is, man, there is in the beginning standard. Like, this is how I'll know I made it. But you shotgun so far past that on the ride that you know what I mean? It's like you didn't even get time to enjoy it. Like I had this standard I was set for myself. I know where I'm at now. I don't even remember. I guess we went past it so fast that's the ride. It goes from like a slow to a haul ass quick.
Yes. Yeah. It's compounding growth. It's like, I'm going to go from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. And,
check.
And it just compounds, and I would say that the biggest kind of, the most valuable thing is like keeping that singleness of purpose, because for me, as we've grown, we've had a lot of opportunities, and I could easily like pull off and jump into this thing, or pull off and jump into this thing. And when I say using like ADHD as a superpower, it's not doing that. It's not having entrepreneurial seizures and peeling off and doing this. No, we're staying focused. We're going to do this one thing and we're going to be great at it. We're going to be great. We're going to be the best in the world at it. And until you can do that, for us, we're building America's next big brand.
That's what you need to teach somebody else to teach people how to do is harness that ADHD. Because what you're saying, like, hey, stay focused, but then it's like those two things usually don't go together.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed is there's two types there's multiple types of individuals down there. There's some people that can concentrate on something for a long, long time. There's also jobs down here that require somebody who can do that. And then there's jobs down here that require people who have to switch, like fast paced, because we go so fast and the way things are. It's just like, man, if you could train that person to use that in that environment, it's a weapon, all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad to hear you say also to focus in on what you're good at and don't chase the next big thing. Like with my company, I'm good at two things, but somebody would come and, hey, oh, by the way, do you do this? Or can you do this? Sure, absolutely. And then I would just get spread so thin. Yes. And I inevitably came back to, this is what I'm good at, and this is what I'm going to push at.
That's almost the entrepreneurial trap.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, when you start running, that's a good point, bro. When you start running down your road that you're supposed to go on, and those other ones start showing up, like, hey, man, I think you should probably, those are the little traps, the rabbit holes.
Those are the traps.
Right. So you just ignore those at the beginning and just keep going.
It's like, ball. You guys have like ball glasses, like a sipping glass, drinking mason jars. You guys have those?
Oh, balls. Yeah. Ball. Yeah.
So their motto is, we make containers.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We make containers. We don't, like NASA came in and was like, hey, can you guys do this? We make containers.
We make containers.
So whatever in the hell you want.
And they're the best in the world at it.
Everyone knows what that mason jar is.
Exactly.
It's not even called, it's a ball jar, right? Yeah.
Mason, whatever.
Yeah, we got you. Yeah, like, what are you talking about, dog?
Yeah, everything's a Kleenex, right?
Everything's
mason jar. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I digress.
He's so smart. Sometimes I gotta bring him back down.
You had a lot of people telling you
they haven't changed either. The ball jars. I was at. You guys ever been to Biltmore in Asheville, North Carolina?
I've been to Asheville.
The hotel?
The Biltmore, the house, the Vanderbilt mansion there.
Oh no, I hadn't been to that.
Well, it's like 100 plus years old, and they had in the basement they had ball jars from like 100 years ago. They look exactly the
same.
Right.
They haven't changed. They make containers.
Yeah.
Is that from Silence of the Lambs? That Vanderbilt mansion?
I don't know.
Gotta go look it up. I think that's the one you're talking. Real big, right? Fountains everywhere.
This place is
it's
massive.
a museum now.
It's like 200,000 square feet.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's
massive.
It's the second largest house in the country, and I think Carnegie built the largest one because Mr. Vanderbilt built that one.
Maybe,
Carolina, man, they got some great stories. It's a beautiful residence.
It's wild. Like, you know, and the reason that I wanted to visit it was just to see it's over the top, right?
Sure.
But the infrastructure to be able to carve out the stone, they had the stonemasons, they had to build a rail system, like just to build that infrastructure, you know, I mean, it's insane, you know, that people could do that back then with horses and buggies. It makes look like what we're doing.
Well, it makes you appreciate what lives in this place.
Whoa, that's in North Carolina?
Yeah, that's
gorgeous.
it right there. Hey, so what lives in here? What is capable of? Can build things like that? We don't really do that anymore because
that's right.
The tech and everything, but that's a unique thing about the Americas, man. There's stuff that's living in here that we can do anything. You captured it earlier. You said something like the American spirit. There's something to that. When you fire that sucker, like 9/11 is probably the last time it got fired up. Wouldn't you say?
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe 9/11 had to be, right? COVID, we got sick. We didn't really get fired up. We got fired down. So 9/11.
The power of the American spirit, and then if you can bring people together, you know, to have kind of a mind meld and a singleness of purpose.
Yeah,
that's the type of shit you can do. I tell people, if you go into Lewiston, Maine, these old mills where, you know, the different immigrants came in, the Irish and the French and everybody else, they built these mills, and the mills are tremendous. But before they built the mills, they had to harness the power of the river.
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah.
And the way they did that is they built canal systems. And if you drain those canal systems, there's probably enough granite to build another great pyramid. And they did that with horses and oxen, and they did that with, you know, with simple tools. So, you know, it's not a great pyramid, but they moved that river the direction they wanted it to go to power those mills. And they did that all over New England, all over the East Coast, and I'm sure in other parts of America too.
Man, you got to look at America as one great pyramid. I mean, it's something. Those factories are something. Like to visit those. Well, we went to some of the distilleries to visit. They're still on the river. The way they make the old-fashioned mills, the way old school, right? I mean, it's kind of like basic school. That stuff always work. You got rivers flowing. The wheels will turn.
Yep. And
to watch them in there doing that, it's something, man, to remind us what we're capable of.
How far, Pete, where are you going with this? Because we see you're the co-owner of Jocko Fuel.
Yeah.
How'd you run into him?
So Jocko, well, you know, in those years that we were building the factory, I was telling someone last night, actually, that I missed like a solid 6 years of what happened in the world. Like 2010 to 2016, I was in my own world. I didn't watch the news. I didn't have TV in the house. Like I didn't know the music groups. It was literally, I'd get up in the morning, I'd go to work at the factory. I'd walk down the dirt road to the factory. I'd do what I had to do for 6 to 8 hours. I'd walk back and I'd go to bed. And I'd try to train jiu-jitsu in there once in a while also. I didn't pay attention to anything else except the task at hand. And that was trying to make stuff in America again, learning how to sew, learning how to cut, learning how to weave fabric, rescuing old looms and bringing them back to life, looking for old timers who could show us the old ways. So I missed this chunk of time. I missed this 6 years. And it's funny because I'll discover something like, oh, a music group. I've never heard of them. What do you mean? They've been around for a decade. Well, that was in that time span. Or a TV show. Oh, that TV show was around for a long time. I just missed that chunk of time. And in 2017, Jocko, I guess, had done a Facebook feed. And he's like, hey, I've been trying to get a hold of this crazy guy up in Maine. If anybody knows him, his name's Pete. I've been trying to get in contact with him about some jiu-jitsu keys or something like that. And Jocko told me that we actually did email back and forth once, and I guess I never got back to him or something. But we ended up getting connected. He loved what we were doing with Origin, and we ended up getting connected, and we spent like 4 hours on our first Zoom call. And we got off the phone, and his wife Helen said to him, hey, it sounded like you were talking to yourself, and so we kind of hit it off, and he flew up to Maine. Of course, he's from New England. He spent half his a year in Connecticut and half his year in Maine, when he was growing up as a kid. So we clicked, and we had a steak and a handshake, and we decided that
that's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
That's all a steak and a handshake.
Honestly,
that's all it takes,
we did that for 3 years before we signed a deal with each other. Like as far as our partnership, Jocko and I we're 50-50 partners. So it was 3 years. We just did this thing like old school, man. Like we're like super old school, like handshake and a steak, and we're good to go. And I think that's been lost also in the world,
man.
That just
all those way to do that's been for whatever reason. Tech, I guess, right? Because you don't have to meet up and have that ability.
Yeah. Part of that deal was Jocko was sponsored by a nutrition company, and part of that deal was for him to walk away from that and us to start a nutritional brand. And so in 2017, that's where Jocko Fuel was born. Was after we left that meeting in Portland, Maine, and put our heads together on starting this nutritional line. So it's been super successful. We've built all the products that he wanted to build, and there's some more coming that are just freaking phenomenal. But when it comes to like clean energy, nothing overstimulated or tons of sugar, but just all natural, pasteurized, like all the good stuff you normally see in a crispy white, lifestyle container, which we have in a black container. It's been a nice ride. So that's how we met and got together. Of course, we're both into jiu-jitsu. He's a jiu-jitsu bum. I'm a jiu-jitsu bum.
Oh yeah.
So
he's a great man for sure.
Yeah.
So where do you see Origins going? I mean, you said vertically and taking over you're going to monopolize it and take it over.
Taking over the East Coast.
Yeah.
People,
I think they think I'm less crazy now when I say, hey, we're building America's next big brand. But that's truly what we're doing. How do I explain it? LL Bean was the last great one from Maine. So LL Bean has Maine for the time being. Like Nike has Oregon, like Under Armour has Maryland, like Burton has Vermont. Origin gets Maine.
Yeah.
And so when I mention those names, that's what we're building. We're building a 100-year brand that's going to transcend me. We're building something that will reestablish and resurrect the abandoned communities. And it's a renaissance of manufacturing. That's truly what it is. I believe Origin's the tip of the spear. And I know that what we are doing hasn't been done in 100 years. Hasn't been done in 100 years. It's not unique. It's hard. Like like if you look at it on a business plan, and you're going to forecast, you're going to lose a lot before you gain anything, so it would make most people scared. And I don't think anybody's going to chase us because nobody's willing to commit to the idea that we're going to do this 100% made in America without compromise.
Yeah.
Everything that we make, we're going to actually make with American hands on the Origin Factory blockchain. So it's a crazy idea, crazy concept, but we've gotten buy-in from.
It's awesome concept, man. That's how we built this whole place.
Hell yeah!
You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly.
I was like, dude, man,
that's how this place was built.
Spirit, holy shit! Maybe I'm watching some shows on television. How the foods that built America, the men that built America. Those are great shows, man. And
so I can tell you that the men who built America, when I was at like my worst with Origin in the first couple of years of manufacturing, I would watch that show over and over.
Like a study guide, right? I mean,
as if people haven't seen that on History Channel, you need to watch that.
Oh man, if it'll fire your ass up watching our elders, the ones that came before, because that's our family. The men that they built that, man, we're still here, dude.
Freaking awesome. I mean, just the sheer force of will.
Yeah. Man.
Grit.
That's all it was.
Yeah, grit.
Sheer force of will.
We're getting this done.
Gritty and scrappy. But the other thing is they took risks.
Yeah.
They took massive risks, massive debt. Like they had something to prove, and like, why have we softened up and lost that? Why don't we still have something to prove? Why aren't we gonna rebuild and protect it?
Oh,
Why are we going to give it away? Why are we going to sell it to the lowest bidder?
Dude,
Because that's what we did.
I was watching it yesterday on Dunkin' Donuts and Krispy Kreme. These are the guys who invented donuts. These are our donut guys, and they're hardcore. I mean, when they were redesigning stuff and getting them, which thank God, I mean, right, for both of them. But it truly is, man. It's an inspiration to watch them in their own field. Like what it is that fires you up and makes you run like that. Whatever that is unique, man. And that motivates the person next to you.
Yes.
I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
Anything that you love doing and doing well will motivate somebody else.
For sure.
That we're designed that way.
We've had a lot of kind of response over the years. I've had people buy factories. Like we have a guy that followed us and he's like, I'm gonna get into manufacturing. And he bought like a confectionery factory. You know, another one bought a factory to like make rims for, you know, another person started up a factory to manufacture furniture. And there's probably 50, 75 people that I know were inspired directly by our journey because we capture it all and we share it with the world. We have a YouTube channel, you know.
That's awesome, by the way. It's like you can learn so much off that sucker.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
The guys did a good job.
Man.
It's really a transparent look at what we're doing. It's like, hey, we totally screwed up on this and this is how we're correcting it. Or like, hey, we're going to make this. Like with our footwear, I think, we actually captured from the very like first, you know, like drawing on a piece of paper, like we're going to make footwear and here's how we're going to go about it. And we have like college professors showing their students these videos on YouTube of us, how we built this thing, you know? And so we're not trying to hide anything, you know, we're actually trying to do the opposite.
Man, it's so inspirational. As much as my brother and I travel now, you see these new factories, these young, they're building bicycles, their own brand. You're not going to reinvent the bicycle, but damn it, you're going to put some cool stuff on it to make it a way that's unique. Yeah. It's like 100 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you're looking for a job, you want to create something, go back 100 years and see what was popular. Bring that sucker back.
Yep, exactly.
You know what I mean? And then do it your way. And then it just talks to people. Like we said, man, suckers in school start a tightrope. What do you call it?
Pegging.
Pegging your pants?
Yeah, peg those jeans. There was another defining moment, which I should touch on because I think you guys will appreciate it. There's something missing. And I think the idea of origin, and I think the mindset of the brand, because it is a brand, but the mindset is the most important part of what we're doing. And that's what kind of transcends the product, transcends everything we're doing. Is we're at this inflection point in our culture where my kids learn everything through this thing right here, this phone, right? We, in our 40s, we heard the stories from the greatest generation directly, right? We sat there with our grandparents.
Damn right. They were awesome.
And they told us about fighting in World War II. My grandfather told me about, you know, being in the Aleutian Islands and the things he did. He told me that when he was, 8 years old, he used to sit at the corner store talking to the old timers about the war. And that war was the Civil War. So like, it's like one generation removed from the Civil War. All right. My kids will never experience those stories, never experience the nostalgia in those stories they romanticized about working in the mills and the Lowell spinning mills and the Peabody tanneries, the things they did, how hard it was, how the work was. They'll never experience that. But we, the Gen Xers, we got those stories directly. And now the greatest generation, they're all but gone. And so we have this hole that we need to fill, right? So you have this kind of perfect triangle of need. You have our kids that never have experienced anything authentic. They've never been in a factory and seen someone take a side of a bison and turn it into a boot. They've never seen that. Right?
Yeah.
And so we're bringing this experience to them. So they have something missing where now they're looking for authentic experiences.
Yeah.
We have something missing where those stories they told us about working in the mills and the factories and the products they built, the durable goods they built, the shit that's built to last a lifetime, that's missing for us. So there's this perfect opportunity to capture the needs of everybody, right? And I was kind of able to see this early on, that this was gonna happen, you know. And so Origin, it kind of fits. It fits for humanity, not just for one person in one place, one demographic. It really fits for humanity. And that's why I call it a renaissance, because everyone's going to have to buy into this. And what COVID did, this is the third piece of that triangle. What COVID did is it expedited the necessity by a decade.
Yeah.
It sped it up 10 years, right? Because it exposed our weaknesses. It exposed the holes. Like, we're weak. We don't know how to make shit anymore. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
So you've got these three things kind of working together, and I see connection between all three of them.
Oh, well, there absolutely
Very
is.
valid.
Yeah, absolutely 100%. And I agree with you 100% on a generational gap. It's like our time in the breach.
That's our fault. If anybody says, hey, this generation that's coming, our kids' generations is fucked up, guess whose fault that is?
Oh yeah, that's on us.
All right. Well, we just got into this a minute ago. You're raised by your grandparents. Because you don't get along with your dad. You love them, but loved by your mama. You pay attention to them grandparents. You love them every time you see them. So we were raised by the greatest generation. Our kids were raised by the baby boomers who hate each other. Yeah, one of them had to go to war. The other one didn't. Now you're sitting them like mom and dad, Democrats, Republicans up in White House. That's all they do is argue and bicker. It's like living in a divorced family. One of them throws a lot of money at you, wants you to shut up. The other one tries to get you to follow the rules. They sent us to 2 wars for 20 years. You don't think that changes us? Our generation is completely different. You said Gen X. We're the X-Men.
Yeah.
A little bit of the old, a little bit of the new. All right, that's exactly what we are. We're not unlike anything. The millennials, the new sucking COVID babies, they could probably fly. I don't know. They're something different. Now, I'll never talk smack about the baby boomers because that's what our parents are, man. And they had to be, look at it like the way they are, had to create us. So those stories that we love to hear from our grandma, we remember those. And we got a bunch of them to tell our kids now. Problem was we've been away. And if we were back home, my brother was gone, which means I was gone. Mm-hmm. Well, what happens after 2 wars? Man, they got us sick together. You don't get battle weekend, man. You get battle hard. We've been through 3 different global events together. Mm-hmm. And we're the ones that got punched in the face over here during 9/11.
Yep.
That's the first time that happened. Even when we were away, the guys that were still here were just like us. The only way we could be like we are is if you had to be that extreme in what you do. And what everyone keeps overlooking is our generation, because we're kind of sitting in the breach just waiting. My brother just got activated. He's going back in. It's like no one transitions when things are bad or good. Mm-hmm. You make a big shift in our country when things are bad. Well, we're in that.
Yeah, and that's what sucks, and that's what's on my mind a lot, and really the ethos and in the DNA of what we're doing is why does something have to suck to bring people together?
I don't know, dude.
Why
right?
Why can't we reflect on what the greatest generation taught us and all agree on that? Why do we got to make right wrong and wrong right? Why do we got to screw this shit up? It's simple.
Why can't it always be like a wedding or Christmas? Every time you get it, right? It's always a good time. It's always like a funeral with us. Let's get to kill something or make something bad before we realize, oh, you know what? I do care about you, man.
Exactly.
Pete, you had a lot of people telling you.
I think the idea of factories, just that concept of factories, I think that was what stabilized the country.
Working together.
Because factories were the melting pot.
Yeah.
So you came from different cultures and different backgrounds and different countries, and you melted into a factory where you built things together. And factories were dangerous too. So you had to cover and move. You had to take care of each other.
Yeah, man. That brings that makes them a family.
Makes them a family.
Like some of those whole towns were there for that particular mill.
Exactly.
Pride in that, man.
There's few left.
Absolutely, 100%.
You had a lot of people telling you weren't going to be able to accomplish what you accomplished, and obviously you stuck to it. What is your advice, never quit advice, specifically for aspiring entrepreneurs, athletes, people who are trying to defy the odds?
I had an old timer tell me, and I've most people, I guess, who have heard this story have heard me say this, but I was kind of at the lowest of my low and I didn't know what to do. We were a few years into Origin. We had built this factory. We had bought these sewing machines, old sewing machines, and we had bought this old loom and brought it back to life. And we would go a week without selling anything. And I'd have to meet my business partner, Jocko, down in Massachusetts, and he would give me some cash, and I'd come up to Maine, deposit in the bank to make payroll. And I was in this cycle until finally there was nothing left. And I remember thinking, like, what am I going to do? Like my back was against the wall. Was this just a big entrepreneurial seizure and a big mistake? This whole thing. And instead of just, I guess, giving up, I found a guy, a local guy who had built a massive company. I asked him if I could get a few minutes of his time, and he invited me over to his lake house. This guy had built a massive company, and he said, "Yep, I'll spend some time with you." He said, "I'll give you a few minutes." He invited me over. I sat on his porch, and he stood up, and he said, "Hey, let me tell you one thing first." He said, "You're not special. Your ideas aren't special, and nobody gives a shit." And he goes, "Do you want to hear more?" And I said, "I'm here to learn and apply." An hour later, I left that meeting, went to the bank, and I remortgaged my house and put $1,000 in the bank of the business. And when I did that, my level, just my mental level, it was heightened. It was like I was just firing on all cylinders, because now I've just put myself personally in a crazy position where you better make
now it's yours.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. We aren't playing anymore. You know, like this is like do or die, man. Like this is do or die. So in a roundabout way of answering your question, it's you're not special. Like there's a lot of great ideas in the world. There's freaking ideas better than all of ours, thousands of them. And people are born every day that will be more talented than you. So there's a plethora of talent. There's an incredible amount of ideas, but you know what there isn't? There isn't a bunch of people that will go all in on their ideas and invest in themselves, because most people are scared of that. They're scared of the unknown. They're scared of what they might lose. They don't focus on what they might gain or how they might grow, you know? And I think that unless you've kind of been through it, it's hard to tell somebody that it's okay. You know, it's okay if you lose your house. Nobody wants to hear that. You know? It's okay with me.
Right.
You know, it's okay. Like it's good to go, because I believe in what we're doing. I believe that we are the tip of the spear. You know, I believe that we started a renaissance of manufacturing. I believe that America needs it. I believe the communities need it. I believe the people need it. I believe in what we're doing. And if you believe that strongly in what you want to do, then execute.
Yeah.
Like execute.
That's the only way you'll get there.
It's almost as if you don't believe in it, they won't.
Nobody else going to.
You don't have to say they won't. They'll feel it. That they just know that. And if they see you down there getting your ass whipped, man, keep coming back in it. You said something earlier, man. It's like you can live your life to work with somebody, work against them or work for them, or do something that helps them in their life.
Mm-hmm.
I can completely remove yourself from the equation at all and just say, man, I just facilitate people while they're going through their trials and tribulations.
I wish there was. That's that right there. What you said. That's what people need to hear at the most basic of levels. Like, all right, look, there is a point in time that you are literally, if you want to, you're going to have to take the life jacket off. You're going to have to, like that scene in Batman when they're trying to crawl out of that hole and he had that rope around his waist. He kept jumping forward, never made it. It's like, look, you're going to have to take the rope off.
Yeah.
That's the only way. And then that's a feeling, and you got it, it. I've done it too. That's a feeling that when that rope comes off, you get sick to your stomach. You're like, oh my God, I have got to do it. It came on. I'm all in.
It's almost as
Game
if
on.
that flips a new switch that gives you a new fuel.
Yes.
And that you can never tell somebody about that.
No.
They have to do it.
That's how we get, like, with guys that go into our training program, if they know that there's a backup, they won't make it.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
There ain't no damn
You're-
backup. We're not backing up. We're going forward.
Yep. Yep. It's a trust fall. And you only got one direction to fall if your back's against the wall.
No shit. Ain't nobody out there to trust.
You either go
Face
right
first,
on your
baby.
face or you take a step forward. That's it.
Learn how to tuck and roll.
Yeah.
And if you do crash and burn, you'll learn so much from that.
Yeah, that's what
It's your
jiu-jitsu's
tuition.
for.
You'll pay
That's
so
what
much
jiu-jitsu
tuition,
teaches you, man. You can either purposely go out there and get your ass whipped, or life will just do it for you. Either way, you're going to have to learn just to exist. And how you know that is every other one of us have to go through that.
Yeah.
You will be raised one way or the other down here.
Man, you're such a great success story, though. Thanks for sharing it with
Yeah,
us.
thanks for doing this, brother. And how can people follow you?
Yeah, what-
track you? And by the way, Origins, great name.
Yeah,
It's a
I'm
great
surprised
name.
I was surprised that was available.
How is that available? But it is, man. It's a solid name.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. No, people, just always, we love support through just following us, on YouTube. It's youtube.com/OriginUSA. Subscribe to the channel, and you can literally follow the whole journey. We have thousands of hours we've captured over the past decade. I was a lot younger back then. I had hair, and and it's all there. The whole story's there. But also on Instagram, Origin USA, and our website is originusa.com. So I mean that's the best ways to follow us, and and as far as like what we're doing, we're building gear. I have this thing I wrote recently: a savage of the body, a pioneer of the heart, and an operator of the mind. Like that's what we're building gear for. Savage of the body, a pioneer of the heart, and an operator of the mind. And everything we build fits within that. We're pioneers, we're operators, and we want to protect what's ours, and that's America.
One
That's
hell
our
of a
family.
model American.
Yeah, so you can check out what we're making. We make some badass shit all right here in the US, and you're supporting a lot of families in America's supply chain when you support us.
Well, right on, brother. Thank you again, man. God bless you. We'll link up,
God bless you
man.
guys.
We'll do something.
Thanks, buddy.